I know, frightened, and left without the parents who loved him so dearly. I want to just say, this child's parents were his parents longer than he ever knew. When they were 12 years old, we learned that Justin said that Amber was going to be his wife. When they were 12 years old, he declared it, and they gave birth to little Jacob. This was not a crime. This was pure evil. The brutality of this crime is almost undescribable. It's cruelty in its purest form, happening during a holiday season. So just think about this time every year, what the family has to endure every time they think about their loved ones. One of the victims was a dedicated firefighter, a man who spent his life running towards danger to protect others. He served his community with courage, sacrifice, and heart. His leadership, his friendship, and his commitment to service made him a hero long before his life was ever taken from him. And they say the wives of members in the public safety family, they endure a lot. They fear their husbands never returning home. But in this case, he did not return home. He was at home. He was safe in his home, or was supposed to be safe in his home. And he was taken, along with his wife. And I want to say something about Amber. When Amber was 2.5 months old, just being born as a child, her own mother passed away. She was raised by a single father. And for those who have children, you know that there's nothing you won't do for your child, and there's nothing that you can't imagine if anything ever happened to your child. But her father raised her alone as a widowed husband. He told me that he had so many stories that he wanted to share with her about her mom and who she was. But now he has to take those stories and share with little Jacob about his own mother, his daughter. When I think of those things, I just can't imagine what they have to go through. I want to extend my deepest condolences to the family and the loved ones of the victims. There's so many. No words will ever fill the void that was left by this tragedy, but I want them to know that we, not just this office, our community, we see them and we stand with them. And we now have to stand with Jacob, who's now 6. And as ADA Green said, he was robbed. He was robbed of everything. He was robbed of his mother, his father. He'll never have the memories of throwing a football with his father. He'll never have the memories of his mom coming to his schools, being a team mom, room mom. All of those things were taken from him. So I want to say to the family that your strength has been extraordinary. You have carried an unimaginable grief with dignity, and you have trusted this office throughout this entire process, every step. This verdict belongs to you. We hope it brings a measure of peace. We know that it won't bring closure, but it's confirmation that the man who stole the lives will now be held accountable, whether he sat to hear his sentence or not. I want to thank this prosecution team that's standing here with me. I call them the best of the best. It's full of our advocates, our law enforcement partners, investigators, and ADAs. Their dedication from the first days of this investigation all the way through trial reflects the very best of our judicial system. They work tirelessly to uncover truth, to present it clearly, and to ensure that the voices of these victims were heard. Let me be clear. This office will always stand firmly against violence. We will always fight for victims, and we will never hesitate to pursue justice, no matter how difficult the case and no matter how senseless the act. To our community, I know this incident is deeply unsettling, A family attacked inside their own home is every person's worst fear. But please know, our office, along with our justice partners, we are committed to your safety, and we will not allow violent individuals to terrorize our neighborhood. We stand firm on this. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, we've gotten a couple of questions from some of our readers, and can you explain to us why this case was presented with the intention of a sentencing of the possibility of parole rather than a capital punishment case?
Yeah, so this case started prior to this administration. So as far as the decision making, when it came to that, I'm not completely sure of where that was, but in just reviewing the case and looking at the case as a whole, I think of several things. I think of little Jacob, and as you all know, there are a lot of processes that go through with a death penalty case. I think about him growing up without a mother and a father and being raised by elderly grandparents, and how he would have to attend every single one of those hearings for the rest of his life. And I think that when I look at that, I look at this way of handling this case brings more closure to him. I think it's best for him. And I also, I just can't imagine if he would be, a 40-year-old man without the same relatives present having to attend these types of hearings. So.
ADA Green and Jared, I know you guys worked on this case for a while. How much time did you put into it? I know here we are 4 years later, right? Like you finally can present it. Just talk about what you put into it and why it took so long to come to this day.
Sure. So we were notified as soon as they found Amber and Dustin. So we've known about it and been working alongside Detective Stannard and the rest of the Cobb County Police Department and solving this case and then bringing the case forward through prosecution. Unfortunately, there were some significant delays based on an allegation by the defense that the defendant was incompetent to stand trial. It required psychological evaluations by a defense expert, which then followed with a 10-month stint at the Georgia Regional Hospital run by the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. And then he was returned to the custody of Cobb in order for us to proceed. So we actually had in August a 4-day competency bench trial to determine whether the defendant was in fact competent to proceed with trial and be held accountable for his actions. So the 4-year delay was largely due to his mental state and allegations that he was not capable of moving forward with his prosecution. But because of that and because it's dragged on, this case has been on our desks and something we've been diligently working towards for years. And it's a case that we've followed Jacob through along the way, watching him grow up. So it's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into these cases. But we're just glad that we can finally at least close this chapter for the family in Cobb County.
I know it was an extremely challenging case, and I know you guys started by saying there was no clear motive. Does that kind of linger with you, why he did this?
We don't always know the why. There's a lot of cases that we try, we don't know exactly why they did this, but our job is to prove who did it and prove each count of our indictment and to each essential element of those crimes. In Georgia, we don't have to prove motive. That's not something we have to prove. Of course, we want that answer. This one, we just won't have that answer.
After the sentencing was read in court, Amber Hicks' father said that it was the first time that he had felt relief. What does that mean for y'all in your team?
I'll tell you, hearing the verdict and the sentence, it's hard to really feel any form of relief. It's hard to feel happy. You hear people say congratulations and you don't feel like it's something you deserve congratulations for. You have a child out there without a mom and without a dad. And so I wouldn't use the word relief. I'm glad that it's over in terms of the criminal case, but I don't think it's a happy day. I think it's a reminder that you have a 6-year-old in this world that doesn't have parents.
And I can tell you from speaking to him, he is so excited about the fact that he has his buddy Jacob with him. He told me many stories about how Jacob's growing up and how just this past Halloween, how he's interacting with people, and he's very proud of him, and it's like they're the best friends, and I think that's pretty much all he can, use to kind of remind him of his daughter and his son-in-law that, are now gone. So Jacob probably is that bright place in his heart right now. So. If there are no other questions, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.